All right, guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Paul. I'm the owner of Mr. Post Frame for those of you who are new to the show. And I'm standing in front of my house that I self-built. I started building this in 2019. For the most part, it's finished. We've got lots of questions on, hey, what's the status of your home? So today we are going to do a full walkthrough of our home. I designed this all on my own, built it all on my own. And to give you a rundown of what it is, the house part is 48 by 48, 18-foot sidewalls. It's 5 bedroom, 5 bath, and then I have a 4-car attached garage that is 56 by 40 with 10-foot sidewalls. So let's go ahead, go inside, and we'll give you a tour. We'll just start here in this main room. It's got 18-foot ceilings. I designed this whole house myself. I designed the HVAC systems. I designed the layout, all that stuff. And one thing we wanted was a big, great room. As you can see, lots of windows. House has radiant heat for the entire house and the garage. We have a wood burning stove that we use all the time. And then we also have HVAC units. I chose to do 2 utility rooms, one for the downstairs and one for the upstairs. The upfront cost was a little bit more, but I wanted to be able to isolate the kids' rooms and all that on their own system. So I have a water heater for up there, all that kind of good stuff. But we'll just go ahead and take you on a tour through here. This is where we spend most of our time. Here in this room, we got our kitchen here. This island's 10 foot. The counter is 4 foot deep. We'll have a link for all these cabinets that we have in here. So I have all of the tile for the backsplash. That's one of the things that we don't have done. It's just it's a matter of having the time to do it. And then I'm custom building a vent hood. So this is just a temporary one, but this will all be white subway tile, the custom built vent hood. But one thing we did special in the kitchen is we have dual dishwashers, one on each side of the sink. If you guys are interested in how we hook that up, we can show you. But we have 3 kids, so we're constantly doing tons of dishes. On the back side of the island, to utilize more space, we have kind of the way the island's set up is we have a 2-foot cabinet and then a 1-foot deep cabinet. So on this 1-foot deep part, we have all storage along the side that all of our canned goods go in. And then in here, we have a pantry that's not built out with cabinets yet, but for now, we have a second fridge, microwave. But this is all eventually, when time and money allows, will be built out with cabinets all the way around. We'll have a second sink in here. So that'll be pretty cool. And then off the kitchen, we have our garage, which we'll give you a tour of that here in a minute. We got a bathroom off the garage, just so it's easy if you're out working, you can come in here without making the house a mess. Full bathroom. And then our mud room, which will eventually also get built out with cabinets on both sides when time and money allows. So one unique thing I did in this house is I added a slide. I promised the kids a slide in the house. So next to our stairs, we have a slide that comes down. So the stairs are all white oak treads and risers. This is about 46 inches wide, and then we have room for the slide over here. This is all this product here is Duracine. It's a solid surface that you can heat up and mold, so that's how I got this curve on here. And we have videos on all this stuff. But it turned out pretty cool. Underneath, we utilized the storage the best we could. Made the kids a little cool sitting room where they can sit and do their homework or just play. They use a lot. They got some LED lights in there. And then under here, Emily's got all of her cleaning stuff, her vacuums, cool stuff like that.
Talk about the kitchen.
There's my other half right there.
Yeah. So these are UltraCraft cabinets that we got through cabinetdirect.com. They are a semi-custom cabinet line. So they had they have like stock colors and door styles and things like that. So we went with a shaker design, and they are a red oak cabinet stained storm gray. You can find all that information on our website. I have quite a few posts about that, giving you the details and how you can get in touch with our designer if you want a kitchen like this as well.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention is our ceiling in here. These are all 1x6 pine boards that we made into shiplap. It was quite a bit of cost savings, but one of the main reasons that we chose to do that is just because we didn't want drywall on these big expansive ceilings, just, for future. I feel like they just, over time, you can start to see the seams and everything. So we have that in the entire kitchen, and then we whitewashed them with 50% water, 50% paint. So you can see in this great room, that is all the custom-made shiplap ceiling, and then it goes all the way back there. And then as we continue the tour through this kind of main area, we have it all in here as well. And this is our dining room. Another thing that we're planning on doing is running cabinets all the way down along here. That's why all the outlets are high, is so that basically we can have a serving area here eventually. And then on this side, we have a wood stove that we utilize pretty much every day once the heating season comes around. One, I like to cut and split wood, and I love a wood stove, and it really reduces the cost in heating your house. This is all Versetta stone up here, and then I trimmed it out with 1/8" angle. I think it just looks really nice. This mantle here, I made out of a red oak that was down on our property. I made it with the chainsaw mill that I had make. We had videos on that as well. But this is a Regency F5100, and it heats this house up to 70+ degrees with ease, even the upstairs. Floors are all concrete. We cut them in 4-foot by 4-foot squares at an angle. And then we finish this out with epoxy and then a polyurethane to just take some of the shine of the epoxy away. If you just epoxy them, they're just way too shiny. Turned out pretty good. I would say this is one thing that we would probably change, is that we would probably go ahead and polish the floors. I guess the upfront cost at the beginning was just more than we wanted to spend, so we did this. And we're not unhappy with this. We would just change that if we could. But you want to should we head over to the master?
Yeah.
So this is the master here.
The master suite, this entire area runs the back length of the home, and the bedroom part, what would you say? Is it about 16 by 13?
We get lots of questions on bedroom sizes. So from here to there is 16, and then from here to here is about 13 and a half.
Yeah.
And then originally that was going to be our office, but that's kind of changed.
It is my office for right now. We do have a lot of plans to move out into some other spaces so that we can all be together again, but this is what I've got set up for myself.
That's where Emily does all the fun work.
If you hear from me, that's where I'm at. And we will probably put some custom doors on this opening.
Yeah, so when I built this, I put blocking all the way across there and there, so if we want to do some sliders, we can do that. This headboard is 100-year-old barnwood that I collected off my great-grandfather's farm, and then we trimmed it out with black angle iron again. It just makes it look really nice and clean. We always put reading lights above the bed where Emily can control hers on her side, and then I can control mine on my side.
Let's head into our bathroom. This is a pretty large bathroom. We did his and her vanity areas, and this side is mine. It's much larger than the other one. We did lots of good storage. This is one of those pieces that is a bit of a splurge, but it holds a lot and it really is very functional. So I really am enjoying it. And then just lots and lots of drawers wherever we can. It takes you right over to the custom tile shower. We would like to add a door to this. We originally were hoping not to have a door, but it just needs something to hold the steam in a little bit better.
So I put a vent fan in here to suck the moisture out. And then I also have this window is 48 inches by 18 inches, and I have it set up high just obviously to have some nice light in here. One thing we will add in this bathroom is I'm gonna trim this out with some more tile, and then we're gonna put backsplashes on both vanities. This is my space over here, which is much smaller, and I utilize one drawer, so I'm renting out the other 3 drawers to Emily for extra storage.
And then we added a toilet closet to this design. And one of the things I would recommend is to add a cabinet above your toilet because it's a great use of the space. So this has become our medicine cabinet and extra storage. It's a little more out of the way, so we don't have to worry as much about our kids getting into it without us knowing about it. Then our closet, we designed it with a pocket door with glass, which I really love. This space we're hoping to finish in the next year or so and make it really, really epic. But for right now, it's not all that epic. It's just a giant room.
Yeah, and for those of you who are self-building, you probably understand this. The house is finished, but there's always things that you're gonna wanna do. And this is just one of those unnecessary costs that we didn't wanna spend the money on right away. So we're working on designing the cabinets and all of our storage for our clothes and whatnot, but for now, this just is what it is. I just made some real easy clothes hangers for now. We do have our own washer and dryer in here, which is really nice. And then we have a second one upstairs, but nothing crazy in here. It'll look really amazing once we build this all out. We're just storing stuff in there. That's gonna be kind of a safe room once I have time to finish that out. So all of our windows downstairs are about, the bottom of the window is 22 inches off the floor. I just like that feel when you walk up to it. The window's pretty low. These are all 3x5s. Out in this big room, they are 7x5 or 7x6s. You can see obviously quite a bit bigger, but we wanted this area to have tons of light. So all these windows here are 7 foot wide, 6 foot tall, and then those are 4 foot tall. And one thing I would want to mention, when I designed this whole entire house, including my garage, all of the post spacing is 8 foot on center. And then I designed all of the rooms around those columns. That way, when I built this, it really simplified the building. As a DIYer, that's something you need to consider is how can I make this easy on myself? And one of the easiest ways is just to design your building 8 foot on center, post spacing, and then design your window locations and your rooms around that, and life will be a lot easier. But let's go ahead and go up and check the upstairs out. So eventually, I'd like to replace this with some wood posts that I mill with my chainsaw mill off my property, and with maybe some metal railing. But this was a quick and easy way to get a railing up here. This is all 3/4 inch white oak that we got from...
We got all of our flooring from reallycheapfloors.com. They have a line of cabin grade flooring, which is not a lesser quality. It's just a higher character wood. And we loved this natural white oak look for it. So that's what you'll see throughout the second floor.
So this is just where we kind of hang out. Kids watch movies up here. This is another one of those spaces that we planned for the future to have like a little kitchenette up here. So we have it plumbed for a sink right here, and then we'll probably have a drink fridge up here, maybe some cabinets across the top, but we'll build that out at a later time. And for those of you who've watched this series, right here, it's just covered up with drywall, is a opening into the space above the garage. And one thing you'll notice when I do the garage tour is there's a couple posts in there and a double LVL header that runs all the way down. When I was building this, I saw how much space was up there. So I came up with this idea, if I put 9.5-inch eye joists. I could get a 56 by 13 foot room up here, which we will enter right here, which will be pretty awesome. I'm not sure when we'll get to that, but it's definitely in the plans for the future.
All right, so let's take a look at the rest of the second floor. We have this door. It actually closes off all of the bedrooms and stuff up here, and this section of the home has its own HVAC system, and it also has a small utility room for its own water heater and water manifold. So everything for the kids kind of operates on its own, which we found to be really helpful and useful. We'll start out over here, which is going to be a laundry room. This is another one of those spaces that we just haven't finished out yet, which is kind of a theme of this video.
Yeah, well, this is when you're building your own place, there's a lot of things you want that maybe you don't have the money for right away. But, you know, you want to think ahead if you want those things, because when time and money allows, a lot of the expense comes with cabinets, comes with, you know, a washer and dryer is going to cost you, you know, $1,000, $2,000 depending on what you get. So we just tried, when we designed this and planned this out, to set it up for the way we really will want it someday. And then as money allows, we'll build it out.
Yes, so it's working for now, but as the kids get older, these spaces are going to be great to have them finished. So this is the girls' bathroom. We did opposing vanities for them so that they can both be getting ready in the morning. This is one of our more popular bathroom requests when people are designing homes, especially larger families, because a setup like this, you could easily double the sinks on each side. So there's a lot of room in here if you are looking for a good bathroom design. And then this is a pocket door that closes off the toilet area and the shower area. Now you won't see any actual linen closets in our home. That's because we decided to utilize cabinetry and other ways to store things like that. So the girls have a very large pantry cabinet in their toilet area, and that is for all of their towels, all of the extra supplies, things like that.
This bathroom has a one-piece fiberglass shower, and eventually we'd like to do tile above them, but for now we didn't. But one thing we did to really shore those up is we used spray foam, and we'll leave a link how we firm these fiberglass showers up. It really works well, and if you're going to put these in, it really makes them feel a lot better, a lot more stable and stuff like that.
Let's go down this way first. We'll show you the secondary utility room.
So this is the utility room from the upstairs. It's got its own HVAC system. It's got its own on-demand water heater, water manifold, all that kind of good stuff. It's not one thing you'll notice with my utility rooms is they're big enough that you have plenty of room to get in there and work around everything. We found this to be really efficient. Obviously the upfront cost for the extra water heater and HVAC system costs you up front, but in the long run it does save you money. So part of the reason I have the second utility room is one thing you have to think about when you're designing a Barndominium post frame home is they don't have basements. Typically in stick frame houses you have basements so you can run all your ductwork underneath. When you have a 2-story post frame home, Barndominium especially, it gets really difficult to serve both the upstairs and downstairs because you only have so much joist space. And I didn't want any drop downs boxed in HVAC duct in our house. So I'll show you how I controlled that downstairs. But upstairs, the ductwork goes up into the attic. It's all insulated, wrapped with polystyrene insulation, and it all runs in the ceiling. So all of our supply and returns drop through the ceiling, and it's worked really well. But that's the upstairs utility room. I like to use these Mantle blocks because you can turn each individual water line off if you were to have a leak. I just like this system. You can run a big loop and have hot water you know, close, but if you turn your water on, the farthest bathroom away is my son's, and you turn it on, 30 seconds later you have hot water, so I don't think it's that big a deal.
When we first started building our house, we wanted to have a full guest suite for especially our family to come and visit us. But in the meantime, from when we started building to when we finished building, all of those family members we were building this for actually moved to the area. So this will probably turn into a guest suite eventually, but for now it's kind of a kid's room. There is a small bathroom and a small walk-in closet that are a part of this design, which does come in handy. It's nice to have it. All right, we'll show you our kids' bedrooms, which, you know, we've got a little bit of work to do on them, but that's okay. This is our youngest. All of the bedrooms up here are about 12 by 12. So this room has a king-size bed. The other two rooms have queen-size beds. They're very spacious, very functional. Their closets are good sizes so that they can have all their stuff stored. This is our oldest. Her room is probably the most organized of the kids, and she has a queen-size bed in here. It fits really comfortably. And then our son, he's got the animal room. And so both of the corner bedrooms have their own bathroom with them. So he has his own little suite. This bathroom is a really great size if you're looking for how big you should make yours. It's about 5 by 9, and there's plenty of room in it. It's got its own shower and tub situation, toilet, and then a vanity that has pretty decent storage.
And we did black penny tile in here. The girls' bathroom we did white penny tile.
My review on the penny tile is that it is unfortunately pretty tough to clean because the tile sits up just enough above the grout, and since the tile's so little, you kind of need some sort of scrub brush, or you have to be on your hands and knees cleaning it. If I could redo, I would have put a darker grout in the bathrooms with the white penny tile, because this one actually shows the least amount of dirt, and so I like this bathroom the best.
All right, guys, so that's kind of a wrap on the walkthrough of the house. Like we said, this is isolated on its own HVAC system, so we have a thermostat in this area here for that. And then all the controls for the downstairs are right down there, which I'll show you. So right here is the thermostat for the HVAC system downstairs, and then we have the radiant floor thermostats, which you can run these off of air sensor or floor sensor. So right down here, I put the sensor inside the concrete. This is one zone out here, and then our master is on another zone, so we have another thermostat in here. And I'll take you out to the downstairs utility room to show you how that's all set up. All right, so if you can see up here behind me, this is another one of those things that I have yet to finish. I just need to cover this with metal, but how I avoided the drop downs for all my ductwork in the downstairs is by running it all out here. These are 10-foot ceilings. My ceilings in the house are 9-foot. So my ductwork runs along the bottom, and then my supplies and returns come off the top of my main trunks and go down the I-joists. So this is all sealed off with 2 layers of polystyrene, sealed up with spray foam on the edges, and that'll get all covered with metal. I just like that so I don't have any drop downs in the house. This is the utility room here. So you can see there's where the supply and return main trunks go through for that side of the house. We have that main trunk extends this way a little bit for the returns, and then all comes back here. So here is our water manifold. I've been using these mana blocks, which I've been really happy with. I like just being able to turn off each individual side if I need to, which I never had to, but will be nice if I need to. If you are worried about how long it takes to get hot water, you can run a main loop and have a circulating pump, but then not sure how that would work with a manifold. I've never done that. I've never really had a problem. Kind of where our bathroom's kitchen located, you turn it on, 30 seconds later, you have hot water. And for us, I feel like that's fine. If you want it instantly, then you're just gonna have to do some kind of circulating pump or on-demand water heaters right under your sink. We've been using these Richmond on-demand water heaters, which have worked out really well for us. We've got our electrical panel here, which is a 200 amp panel. I think it's like 60 something spaces. We ran 2-inch conduit up into a trough and then poked through the wall on the other side. Worked really well with the Romex, hides it all, makes it look nice and clean. Over here we have our gas manifold. We have a 2 PSI system in this house just because there's so many gas-fired appliances. We would have had to run a huge line in here, and it was just easier to do the 2 PSI. And then have regulators at each appliance. So like here on the furnace, where this is the supply coming in, which is 2 PSI, and then this regulator drops it down to the 11 inches water column. This is all LP. So you use this to control the pressure going into your appliance. And so we have those on all of our appliances. You can see I have a regulator here for the water heater, have a regulator here for the boiler. And then this is all of the in-floor heat system. We're working on revamping our in-floor heat playlist. Hopefully we'll have that back up here in a little bit because we get lots of questions on that pretty regularly. One other thing to think about is internet wire, speaker wire. We have automatic shade wire, Cat 6, all that stuff is housed up here. Our router's up here, cameras all come back to here. That's just kind of the data center. I will get like a shelving unit where all that stuff gets organized once I get it all finished. But I would say probably one of the biggest mistakes people make when they design their own home is they design these homes with little bitty utility rooms. And if you think this is the brains of the house, this is where everything you need to run the house is. So I make these rooms plenty big, where there's plenty of room to get in there and work, where there's plenty of space to organize everything. And then I always like to have it on an outside wall if at all possible. And the reason is because you got a lot of venting that you have to deal with. So we got a direct vent for the boiler, direct vent for the water heater, direct vent for the furnace. And so all that stuff has to go out. So like you can see here, it's all going out the wall, or it goes up into the attic space above the garage and out the roof. And then another thing to think about is your line set for your HVAC. It's really easy because it just goes right out there, right down the wall, and it's right there. This is a 56 by 40. So back to the back wall, it's 40. It's like 26 feet to there. And I wouldn't have had to have these in here, but I put a double LVL all the way down, and then I ran I-joists across. So I could have a 56 by 13 foot room up there eventually. We got our canning kitchen, stainless steel triple sink, got a 48-inch commercial stove. We'll be doing some different things in here too. We're going to be adding countertop over here with cupboards. Obviously I got my deer hanger there. We'll eventually put in a nice door here to like close that off so we can keep that cleaner, and it just makes it nice. I'll make that air conditioned in there. This goes all the way back here. Got some shelving, just kind of stuff that eventually I want to get out of here when I build a shop. The garage doors are all 10 by 8. There's 4 of them. There's plenty of room to come in here, open your doors. The poles don't get in the way. This is above the storm shelter. I call it a storm shelter, place to seek safety. So this is just the upstairs. Eventually we want to make this a studio. But down here is where we go if there's like a tornado, anything like that. Just got some hunting gear down here right now. But you can see one thing I did is I did run a loop of radiant heat in here. So I can heat this space, and it actually works pretty good. This is where we actually lived while we were building the house. We lived in the garage. The kids, we had 3 beds down here, and then Emily and I had our bed upstairs. And we stayed nice and toasty warm with that in-floor heat in here.
Here's what I found.
But eventually we'll finish this all off, make this a studio or office. But that's the garage in a nutshell. We got floor drains in each spot, just so if, when we pull a car in here or whatever it is, it melts off, it can drain out. All of my shop lights or garage lights are from Prime Light. It's a US company out of Texas. It's nice and bright in here. If you guys are interested in that, we have a code where you can get a discount. He will do a free layout for you for your shop, garage, whatever case it may be. You send him the dimensions, tell him, you know, what kind of wall covering you're gonna have, and he'll do a free light layout for you. Plus you can get a discount on your lights. They make a lot of different size lights. These are 48-inch LED. They're like the T6, but they are plastic so they don't break. Really nice, easy to install. So check that out if you're interested in that. We'll leave a link in the description. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the tour of the Mad County build. If you guys didn't watch any of this, we have a complete series on this entire build. It's entertaining, it's educational, and we also have, now that we're building for other people, all the build series of the houses we have built and are currently building on our YouTube channel.
And if you are wanting more in-depth construction help and a community of other self-builders or people who are wanting to self-contract, join us on Patreon, where we do monthly live videos and other in-depth education for you. And you can also contact us if you're looking for Barndominium design services, design@mrpostframe.com, and we'll be happy to help you.
And as always, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next video.